The topic for today's talk is responsibility beyond the scope of work. Now, what is responsibility? But accountability for your decisions and your actions. A sense of duty and responsibility at the workplace towards nation and society at large should come early in life, and it grows from your sense of duty and responsibility towards your own self and towards your loved ones. Now, there are a few lessons on responsibility I have learned over the years, and 4 of those simple but powerful lessons I'd like to share with you today. First, the one hide rule. Every one of us has had and faced in life failure and disappointments. I've had my fair share of failure in life. I've had rejections in life like everybody else. There were these MTech interviews at IITs. I failed to clear 3 of them, including the one close by. I failed in curriculum subjects in school and college. I failed in wonderful job opportunities which may have taken my career trajectory in a different direction. For better or worse is a debate for another day. And I failed to secure funding at very many places where I have pitched for my social sector organization. Besides, I've faced situations which are so embarrassing. Let me recount a few. I've changed marks in the teacher's register and I was caught. I've been suspended for being involved in fights. And then there are the matters of the heart. There was this pretty girl who I liked. I went up to her, proposed. She said no. It's okay. I'm a person for independent choice. It's her choice. But after some time, I get the news that she is having an affair. Sad. And the person who's her boyfriend happens to be a close friend of mine. Total heartbreak. And this has happened not just once, but twice. Once in school, once in college. Now today, standing in front of you, I'm able to laugh at this incident. But when it actually happened, and all the other failures and rejections, I was so disappointed. It felt like life itself has come to an end. And there was no place where I could go. I was so angry at myself and the entire world. Wish I knew the one hide rule then. What it is, it's simple. Basically, how will this situation make you feel in 1 hour, 1 year, 1 decade, and eventually? The first hour is excruciating. It's pain. It's like hell. I just couldn't bear. I couldn't think that there is tomorrow. But 1 year later, things cooled down. We didn't even remember the incident, and we could look back at it, if at all, pretty rationally, objectively. A decade on, it was more like an event from our school and college life, and we could laugh at how silly we were. Eventually, it just ceases to matter. What at one point seemed to be the be-all and end-all does not even count amongst the times that will be remembered, that you will value after several years after the passage of time. Next, notice the invisible work. When we were in final year, appearing for our final exams, there was this junior of ours who stayed back after his exams were over. What he would do, he'd just do mundane work for us. He would make tea and bring water from the water cooler and basically be like a human alarm clock, just help us so that we could focus and concentrate on our studies. Whatever that group of us, 8 to 10 people, whatever we went on to become in life, we all owe a small portion of that success to him and to countless others like him who do that invisible work around us. Some of the fondest memories of my childhood are when I used to go to my maternal village, Nani's village. My Nani, may God bless her soul, Like all rural people, the entire day she was working hard, toiling at home and in the fields, rearing animals and the household chores. Rural life is tough, and it was even more so 30 years back. Despite that busy schedule, bringing water from large distances and taking care of animals and all sorts of small things that she used to do, she would find time and the energy, and she would make the effort to sit with us, to teach us new games, to regale us with tales, and basically cater to our whims. Once I started working, she would say, "Beta, once I see your marriage, I would have lived a full life and I'll be at peace, ready to meet my maker." And insensitive as I was, I'd reply, "Nani, you'd get a much better view from heaven." And sadly for me, I could never convey to her how much I loved her, how much I appreciate her being there, just to be part of her family and to be loved and cared by her. Besides that, every single day, whether we are at home or office, whether we are students or professionals, there is a lot of things that is done for us. The small little things, the invisible work that takes place around us for us. Something seemingly so insignificant as refilling of water bottles and ice trays, or making our bed, and booking of tickets and planning and organizing. All that takes time and effort and energy and patience, and somebody is doing that for us. It would behove on all of our part. We'd be good if we could just step back, take notice, and show our appreciation to all those people who are doing that invisible work to make our life smooth, and that before it is too late. Next, recklessness ruins lives. Let me take you along on a journey, literally. December 1996, the last week, I was in my first year engineering, and we were supposed to go on holidays to our hometown, some 240 kilometers from the place where I was doing my engineering. We were supposed to go by train, tickets were booked. One fine day, a senior comes to us and he requests us to transport his bike along with us on the train. We agree, but then a bright idea strikes. Why travel by train and take the bike? Let's travel on the bike, create our own motorcycle diaries like Che Guevara. And it was not, letting out a secret today, it wasn't even a bike. It was a hero poke, a poor man's bike, basically. The maximum speed it could go to was 80 to 90. The day we were supposed to leave, we should have started early in the morning, but we went to college instead. Just to brag to anybody who was willing to listen, that look, we are going on an adventure. Started late in the afternoon. It was around sunset, I remember, checking the speedometer, I was riding. It was 70 plus, youthful. I remember seeing a road, on the curved road, I remember seeing a jeep coming from the opposite direction. There are moments in your life when you start getting a feeling that something will go wrong, you won't be able to control it. And I started getting those jitters at that moment. And it actually happened. When the jeep crossed us, I swerved sharply to the left, the bike skid, we fell, we were injured, thankfully not very badly. The bike was broken, the headlights stopped working. Somehow we managed to pick it up, start it, complete the journey, and reach home in one piece. I shudder to think what would have happened a few seconds lapse or a few feet towards the right. Families would have been devastated. And this was not the only silly thing we did in college. When you are young, you are reckless by nature. There were these times, there was a panther on campus. It had just killed a dog, and there were maimed cattle carcasses on the campus. And at night in darkness, without any weapons, not even a stick, we would go look for the panther. This was before we had mobile phones and cameras, torchlights basically. We would travel intercity from one city to another on the roof of a bus at night. We would jump from balconies over small beds, cold drink pila denge, and we would do it. And so many other things. Every single thing that I would prohibit my own kid to do. It is our duty to remember when we are young, particularly, that our responsibility is not only to our own self, but to those who take care of us, our own families and loved ones, who would be shattered if something were to happen to us. Last, just be nice. Now we have this perception that as kids are gentle and kind and nice, but my experience has been contrary to that. They can be mean and nasty. I was like that. Everybody makes fun of physical features of others, and kids, being honest, they can take that to a brutal extent. They'd call somebody tall, dark, short, chashmish, and so on and so forth. Not good, but possible. The next is when one starts commenting on people's attributes and skills and capabilities. Everybody does it, some more than others. I was doing it. Hey, even if you study for 4 years, you won't clear this examination. Wow, look at this guy, so clumsy. Oh, look at this person, so lazy, incompetent. And so on and so forth. And nobody is immune. It's not like I've never been at the receiving end. I've had people make fun of my walking and talking style, my lack of sports abilities, and other things. To such an extent that for quite some time growing up, I put on a fake accent and an affected walking style. When I did it, I always felt it's a small thing, it's just a joke, no harm caused, should be taken as that. But when it happened to me, it mattered, it hurt, it stung. The only thing I couldn't make the connection that what stings me would probably be doing the same to somebody else. And don't judge me, I've been improving and changing. If I were to get a chance to go back, I would definitely try to be much nicer, and I would try to make friends with all the people, with everyone. And that's not just because networking helps in your career and professional growth, but you miss out on the opportunity to make good friends for life. Summing up, the key takeaways from this talk that I would like to leave you with is, remember the one hide rule whenever the going gets tough. Notice the invisible work and appreciate all those who are doing that for you. Avoid recklessness, inculcate safe behavior as a habit, not as an event. And just be nice to everyone around you. I hope these small lessons would make all of us better professionals, better at our jobs, and more importantly, better human beings. Thank you, and Jai Hind.